The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets overhead as I slammed my locker shut, my arms loaded with dog-eared paperbacks that smelled of vanilla candles and forgotten summers. "Faggot bookworm," Jake snarled from behind me, his voice slicing through the chatter of the crowded hallway like a switchblade, and before I could turn, his football buddies had yanked the stack from my grip, sending The Great Gatsby and Giovanni's Room spiraling to the grimy floor in a cascade of yellowed pages. Laughter erupted, sharp, mocking, the kind that echoes in your bones long after the bell rings. As I dropped to my knees to gather them, my cheeks burning hotter than the California sun outside, and that's when Dominic stepped forward, his shadow falling over me like a storm cloud, his green eyes locking onto mine with something I couldn't name. Pity, or maybe the first crack in his armored world. "I'm Angel Rivera, 17 and counting the days until I could escape the beige purgatory of Lincoln High in Riverside, California. Books were my fortress, my rebellion against a world that saw me as soft edges and whispered secrets. Mom worked double shifts at the diner to keep our tiny stucco house from foreclosure. Dad was a ghost who'd bailed when I was 6. And school? It was a battlefield where guys like Jake ruled with fists and slurs. And I was the easy target, the kid with the thrift store flannels and a backpack embroidered with faded rainbows from some Pride March I'd never attended. That day, though, something shifted. As I scrambled for my books, fingers trembling on the spine of James Baldwin's words about love that dared not speak its name, Dominic knelt too, his calloused hand brushing mine as he picked up Giovanni's Room. Our eyes met again, and in that split second, the hallway noise faded to a dull roar. "Here," he muttered, voice low like gravel under tires, shoving the book at me before standing and melting back into his crew. Jake slapped his shoulder, crowing, "Dom's gone soft," rescuing the queer-lit club, but Dominic didn't laugh. He just glanced back once, jaw tight, and walked away. I replayed that glance all through AP English, doodling fractured hearts in the margins of my notebook while Mr. Hargrove droned about unreliable narrators. Was it nothing or everything? Dominic Hayes was the golden boy, quarterback, class president material, with that effortless swagger that made girls sigh and guys envy. His family's old money, vineyards out in Temecula that supplied half the state's Cabernet, and he drove a black Jeep that roared like it owned the streets. We'd shared orbits since freshman year, but never collided. Until now. By lunch, the video was viral in our grades group chat. Me on my knees, books flying, Jake's slur booming. Comments piled up like debris, loser, crybaby, deserves it. I deleted the app, appetite gone, and hid in the library with a vending machine bag of flamin' hot Cheetos, the spice burning my throat as tears did the same. That afternoon, practice ran late for the team, so the parking lot was a ghost town when I biked home, the Inland Empire heat clinging like regret. But as I chained my Schwinn to the rack, tires crunched behind me. Dominic's Jeep pulling up slow, like he was deciding whether to hit the gas or brake. He killed the engine and hopped out, all 6'2" of him in grass-stained cleats and a hoodie zipped against the cooling air. "Angel, wait," his voice cracked on my name, and I froze, heart hammering like it wanted out. Close. He smelled like turf and Gatorade, his hair damp curls from the shower. About earlier. That was fucked up. Jake's an asshole. I laughed, bitter and short, wiping sweat from my brow. "Yeah? Tell me something I don't know. You gonna apologize for your boy? Or just play white knight, 'cause you feel bad?" The words tumbled out sharper than I meant, fueled by the ache in my chest. He winced, rubbing the back of his neck, that telltale flush creeping up his tan neck. I don't know, man. I just couldn't watch it. You okay? Okay. The question hung there, absurd in its simplicity. No one asked if the quiet kid was okay. They assumed you were fragile glass, ready to shatter. But Dominic's eyes held mine, steady, searching, and for the first time, I felt seen. Not as the punchline, but as Angel. Books are replaceable, I said finally, voice steadier. The rest? Not so much. He nodded, like he got it, deeper than words. Hey, ride home? It's on my way. I hesitated. Bikes and jeeps didn't mix easy, but the vulnerability in his offer cracked something in me. Sure. Why not? The drive was quiet at first, radio humming low country rock that clashed with the palm trees blurring past. He asked about the books, genuine curiosity edging his tone, and I rambled Baldwin's Paris Expatriates, Fitzgerald's Doomed Glamour, words spilling like I'd been starving for someone to listen. Dominic chuckled at the right spots, shared how his abuela snuck him 100 years of solitude when he was 12, calling it magic for the soul. By the time we hit my street, the sun dipping low and painting the stucco gold, I realized I'd smiled more in 20 minutes than all week. Thanks, Dom, I said, hopping out. He grinned, that rare, real one that dimpled his cheeks. Anytime, Bookworm. See you tomorrow? Tomorrow came with Jake's payback. In the cafeteria line, he accidentally shoulder-checked me into a tray of mystery meat, gravy splattering my shirt like abstract art gone wrong. Laughter rippled again, but this time, Dominic was there, tray in hand, eyes narrowing. Chill, Jake. Not cool. Jake scoffed, but backed off, muttering about pussies sticking together. Dominic slid into the seat across from me at my empty table, offering half his PB&J. Ignore him. He's got daddy issues bigger than his ego. We ate in companionable silence, knees brushing under the plastic table, a spark jumping where they touched. That night, text lit my phone. You good? From an unknown number. I saved it as Dom QB before replying, better. Thanks for lunch. Weeks blurred into a rhythm I didn't dare name. Study sessions in the library after his practices, me quizzing him on history dates, him sketching plays on my notebook margins. Stolen glances in the halls, his foot nudging mine during assembly. The bullying simmered but didn't boil over. Word spread that messing with Angel meant crossing Dom. I told myself it was friendship, nothing more, but my dreams said otherwise. Tangled sheets, his hands on my waist, green eyes dark with want. Riverside's autumn crept in, eucalyptus leaves crunching underfoot, and with it, the homecoming dance loomed like a dare. Mom noticed the change, her tired eyes lighting up over Eras con pollo. This Dominic sounds like a keeper. Invite him over, I flushed, mumbling about just friends, but inside, hope flickered like a candle in wind. Then, the Friday before the dance, it all ignited. Practice ended early. I waited by his jeep as usual, Persephone tucked under my arm. He jogged over, breathless, but his smile faltered when he saw my face. Pale, I knew, from the group chat blowing up again. Jake had posted a Photoshop, me in a tutu, caption Dom's new date, homecoming queen. The comments were venom, fairy tale ending. Gross. Dominic snatched my phone, scrolling, jaw clenching. This ends now. Before I could stop him, He stormed back toward the field house, me trailing like a shadow. Jake and the crew lounged on the bleachers, beers cracked despite the no-alcohol rule. Problem? Haze, Jake taunted, tossing a football. Dominic caught it one-handed, hurled it back hard enough to sting. Yeah. You're bullshit. Apologized to Angel. Now, the air thickened, testosterone and tension. Jake stood, chest puffed. Or what? You gonna cry about your little boyfriend? The word landed like a grenade, boyfriend, and the guys snickered, but Dominic didn't flinch. Say it again. See what happens. Fists clenched, but Jake backed down, muttering whatever, man, and slinking off. The crew dispersed, leaving us alone under the stadium lights, the air humming with unspoken electricity. You didn't have to, I started, but he cut me off, stepping close, too close, his breath warm on my face. I did. Because, fuck, Angel, I like you. More than friends. And I hate seeing you hurt. Time fractured. His hand cupped my cheek, thumb tracing my jaw, and I leaned in, heart thundering. Our lips met, soft at first, tentative, then hungry, like we'd both been parched for years. His hoodie was soft under my fingers, his mouth tasting of mint and adrenaline. When we broke apart, foreheads pressed, he whispered, "Homecoming? With me." I nodded, dizzy, the world remade in that kiss. But as we drove home, his hand on my thigh, a shadow lingered, Jake's eyes, watching from the bleacher's edge, promising storms. Homecoming week hit Riverside like a fever dream. Banners strung across Magnolia Avenue, cheer squads blasting pop anthems from flatbeds, the air thick with fry grease from the fairgrounds funnel cakes. Lincoln High thrummed with it. Spirit days, powder puff games, the unspoken hierarchy sharpening like a blade. For me, it was a tightrope. Dominic's hand brushing mine in secret, stolen kisses behind the AV room, but always the weight of eyes, whispers slithering like smoke. They're a thing now? Nah. Dom's slumming. I buried the doubt in books. The picture of Dorian Gray mirroring my fears of beauty's cruel underbelly. But Dominic made it real. Notes slipped into my locker. Can't stop thinking about your smile. Late-night drives to the Ortega Mountains where we'd park and talk stars. His arm around me as coyotes howled distant. Mom fussed over my outfit that Friday, ironing my one good button down, a thrifted Navy number that hugged my slim frame, while blasting Selena on the kitchen radio. "Mijo, you look handsome. Like your father on our wedding day." Before, she trailed off, eyes misty, and hugged me fierce. "Be safe." And happy. The gym transformed into a neon wonderland. Disco balls spinning, uptown funk, thumping from speakers, kids in ill-fitting tuxes and sequined gowns swaying under paper streamers. Dominic waited by the punch bowl, devastating in a slim black suit that accentuated his broad shoulders, tie loosened like an invitation. His eyes lit when he saw me, crossing the floor in 3 strides to pull me into a hug that smelled of his cedar cologne. "You clean up nice, Rivera." We danced awkwardly at first, me stepping on his toes to Bruno Mars, him laughing that deep rumble that vibrated through me. But soon it flowed, bodies sinking like we'd rehearsed. His hand on the small of my back, guiding, possessive in the best way. Mine tangled in his curls as we slow danced to Ed Sheeran, the world narrowing to his heartbeat against mine. "This feels right," he murmured into my ear, breath hot. "You feel right." I believed him, lost in the romance of it, the way he'd defended me, chosen me over his crew's easy acceptance. Jake lurked at the edges, nursing a flask with his dates, but even he kept distance, the memory of Dominic's threat a fresh bruise. The after-party was at Brittany's mansion in La Sierra Hills, sprawling McMansion with a pool glowing turquoise, bass from the den rattling windows. Dominic's Jeep ate the miles quick, his fingers laced with mine over the console. "No pressure tonight," he said, glancing over. "Just us." But pressure hummed anyway, the thrill of being out, even if only half, in a town where rainbows were for parades, not parking lots. Inside, the party's pulse was frantic. Red Solo cups, bodies grinding to trap beats, the haze of weed and cheap vodka. Jake held court by the keg, but Dominic steered us poolside, away from the chaos, where fairy lights twinkled like promises. We swam first, clothes on, splashing like kids, until laughter turned to closeness, his wet shirt clinging, my hands tracing the V of his hips underwater. He kissed me there, slow and deep, water lapping as hands explored. His under my shirt, calluses rough on smooth skin, mine in his hair, pulling him closer. "Angel," he groaned, voice wrecked, and we tumbled out, towels snatched, sneaking upstairs to a guest room that smelled of lavender and privilege. The door clicked shut, and clothes shed like old skins, his suit jacket tossed, my shirt unbuttoned with trembling fingers. Skin to skin, it was revelation. The freckles dusting his chest like stars, the way he shivered when I kissed his collarbone, the urgent press of him against me. We moved together, tentative then bold, whispers and gasps filling the dim room. "I love you," he said after, as we lay tangled, sheets cool on fevered bodies. I echoed it, heart full, believing in forever under that canopy bed. Morning cracked with hangovers and regrets. Not ours, but the world's. Dominic's phone buzzed relentless. Jake's texts, "Where you at, bro?" Then voicemails from his dad, slurred about family image. We drove back in golden silence, his hand on my knee, but by the time we hit school Monday, the fairy tale frayed. Hallway murmurs followed us, saw them making out. Gross. Jake cornered Dominic at lunch, voice low venom. "You serious? Throwing away everything for that freak?" Dominic shoved him off, but the seed planted, doubt in his eyes when he met mine later, a hesitation in his touch. I pushed it down, focused on the upcoming Lit Mag deadline, my short story about a boy who loves fiercely despite the thorns. Dominic proofed it in the library, red pen gentle, praising the raw heart. "This is you," he said, kissing my temple. Brave as hell, but bravery cracked when the rumors escalated. "Slash tires on my bike," Jake's work, whispered. Graffiti on my locker, FAG in red marker. Dominic confronted him again, fists nearly flying in the parking lot. But Jake sneered. "Choose. Hayes. Us or him." That night, over tacos at my place, Dominic paced the linoleum. Mom tactfully vanished to her shift. "I can't lose you, but my scholarship. Dad's already on me about scouts." His voice broke, and I pulled him close, murmuring, "We'll figure it, but fear not mine, for the fragility for the fallout." Winter solstice brought chill winds off the San Gorgonio peaks, and with it, the holiday formal at school. A smaller affair, but loaded. Dominic asked me again, public this time, dropping to one knee in the quad with a carnation, cheers mixed with jeers. We went, defiant in matching scarves, dancing under mistletoe till Jake exploded. drunk on spiked eggnog. He cornered us by the exit. Hayes, you're a disgrace. Fucking a dude? Your old man's rolling in his grave. Dominic's dad had died young. Heart attack. The barb hit home. Fists flew. Dominic's connecting with Jake's jaw. A crack echoing, security hauling them apart. Me yelling for it to stop. Suspended. Both. But the video went district-wide. Headlines in the Press Enterprise. Lincoln High brawl. Quarterback defends gay friend? The backlash hit like a nor'easter. Dominic's coach benched him. Dad's law firm buddies called with advice. And his mom, elegant, distant, froze his Jeep keys. He snuck out to meet me at the arroyo behind my house, where we sat on the dry riverbed, bundled in hoodies against the desert cold. I don't care, he lied, chin on knees. You're worth it. We made love there under the moon, urgent and desperate, bodies grinding against sand-scoured rocks, his tears salt on my lips. But lies fester. By New Year's, cracks spiderwebbed, canceled dates for family stuff, texts curt, then silent. I confronted him after a game, him glowing on the field, me in the bleachers alone. What's happening? Dom. He looked wrecked. Post-win high faded. It's too much. Jake spreading shit. Said you'd out me to ruin my life. And maybe he's right. The words gutted me, sharper than any slur. So that's it? We were just a phase. He reached for me, but I jerked back. Angel. No, I love you, but I can't. He trailed off. I was pleading, but I saw the surrender. Go, then. Choose your castle. He drove off, taillights fading into the night, leaving me hollow under stadium echoes. January dragged, gray skies mocking my grief. I buried in books, heart of darkness for the betrayal's abyss, grades slipping, mom's worried glances over Cafecito. Lit Mag published my story anonymously. Responses poured in, kids slipping notes, thanks for the courage. It sparked something, a GSA club meeting I crashed, sharing my tale haltingly, voices joining in solidarity. Jake's crew fractured, whispers of his own secrets, hookups with the rival team's wide receiver, leaked, karma's quiet bite. But loss lingered like smog. One rainy February night, thunder rumbling over the San Jacintos, a knock shattered my solitude. Dominic, soaked, eyes wild. I fucked up. Let me in. Lightning flashed as he spilled. Therapy sessions his mom forced, realizing Jake's poison ran deep. But his heart, mine. I choose you. Every time, we collided in the doorway, rain-slick kisses tasting of redemption, bodies crashing onto my twin bed in a frenzy of need and forgiveness. Never again, he vowed, fingers tracing my scars, literal from a childhood fall, figurative from him. Dawn found us entwined, the storm passed, rainbow arcing faint over citrus groves. Yet trust rebuilds slow. Spring training tested us, Dominic out as bye to his team, some bolting, others staying, Jake expelled after a Hayes ritual gone wrong. We navigated it hand in hand, pride stickers on lockers, double dates with a theater kid couple, my story long listed for a Scholastic award. Graduation loomed, UC Riverside acceptances in hand, his for poli-sci, mine for English. But shadows loomed, a final betrayal, Jake's parting shot. May bloomed brutal in Riverside, jasmine heavy, temps spiking to triple digits, the kind of heat that presses secrets to the surface like sweat on skin. Dominic and I had carved a fragile peace, mornings tangled in his sheets before school. His mom's tentative approval thawing over Sunday brunches of migas and mimosas. Afternoons in the library, my head on his lap as he quizzed me on vocab, his fingers carding through my hair like a lullaby. We'd gone public-ish, holding hands in the quad, his jersey draped over my shoulders at pep rallies, and the school adapted, a wary truce. GSA meetings swelled. I led discussions on Baldwin now, voice steady, Dominic in the back row, proud grin splitting his face. "You're a force," he'd whisper after, kissing me fierce against the cinderblock wall. But Jake's ghost haunted. Expelled mid-semester for the hazing. Paddles and blindfolds turning ugly on a freshman pledge. He'd vanished to juvie upstate. Family lawyered up to bury it. Whispers said he blamed me, the fag who snitched, though I hadn't. His final act dropped like a bomb 2 weeks before finals. A leaked audio, grainy but damning, from homecoming night. Dominic's voice, slurred post-party, angels just. Experiment, you know? Gotta keep it quiet for the scouts. Recorded by Jake's phone, slipped under a bathroom stall. It hit Snapchat first, then Instagram stories, exploding across the district. Told you. User. Dom's a fraud. My phone buzzed apocalypse. Friends concern. Trolls glee. Moms call me Mijo. I confronted him in the parking lot after chem. Rain from an freak monsoon sluicing the asphalt, turning it to black mirrors. He pulled up late, Jeep mud-splattered, face ashen when he saw me waiting, soaked and shaking. "Angel, it's not. Play it." I cut in, thrusting my phone at him, the clip looping his betrayal in tinny betrayal. His eyes widened, horror dawning. That night, I was wasted, Jake egging me on. It was bullshit. Cover. I swear, but the words curdled. How many covers before truth drowned? "You said you chose me," I hurled, voice cracking over thunder. "Was that a lie too?" He lunged, grabbing my arms, rain streaming down his face like tears. "No, God, no. Listen." Jake set it up, recorded after I passed out. I didn't know till yesterday, when he'd met it, laughing like a psycho, doubt warred with love, a civil war in my chest. "Why didn't you tell me?" He deflated, hands dropping. "Feared this. Losing you." We stood there, deluge biblical, until I nodded truce, for now. "Prove it." Finals blurred. Trig proofs smudged by late-night cram sessions in his room. His body heat my anchor. Essays on queer lit pouring my rage onto pages. The audio faded, dismissed as Jake's revenge. But scars itched. Graduation rehearsal brought catharsis. Caps and gowns in the auditorium. Dominic's name called for salutatorian. Mine for creative writing honors. Backstage, he pulled me into the prop closet. Curtains and dust motes. Kissing me slow, reverent. "You're my truth," he murmured, hands framing my face. We made love there, quiet and intense. Costumes rumpled around us. The world outside applauding futures we'd claimed together. Summer unfurled lazy. Inland Empire haze lifting for pool days at his family's vineyard. Rows of Cabernet stretching to hazy mountains. Air sweet with fermenting grapes. We worked there mornings. Him showing me the vine's careful pruning. Me reading aloud from Maurice under the arbor. Forster's forbidden love echoing our own. Afternoons were ours. Drives to Big Bear Lake, where we'd hike to alpine meadows. Stripping to swim in glacier-fed streams. Bodies slick and sun-warmed on rocky shores. "Marry me someday," he'd joke, tracing lazy circles on my stomach as we dried. I'd laugh, but the seed planted visions of a life beyond Riverside's confines, maybe San Francisco lofts or New York brownstones, bookshelves groaning with our stories. But conflict brewed domestic. His mom, Elena, cornered me one vineyard twilight, her silk blouse pristine amid the dirt. Dominic adores you, Angel. But this town, it chews up dreamers. She meant well, her own youth a shotgun wedding to a man who broke before he bent. But warning laced it. Protect him. Mom echoed over tamales, her calloused hands squeezing mine. Love's a risk, but silence is death. Speak your heart. I did, in letters unsent at first to Dominic, spilling fears of inadequacy, the bookworm unworthy of the quarterback. He found one tucked in his glove box, confronted me lakeside at dusk. You're not less. You're everything. We argued then, raw. My insecurities clashing his impatience. Words like barbs until tears came. Apologies in the fading light. He held me as sobs racked, promising, we'll fight fair. Always. Fall semester at UCR beckoned, dorms assigned, orientation packets dog-eared. We planned tandem move-in, his econ poli-sci track, my lit seminars. But August scorched with Jake's return. Paroled early for good behavior, he slunk back to Riverside, crashing with cousins, eyes hollowed by juvie ink and regret. First sighting, gas station on University Avenue, him pumping gas, me frozen in line for Slurpees. Our eyes met, his pleading, mine steel. Angel. Sorry, he mumbled later, cornering me at the campus bookstore where I stocked up on syllabi reads. I was scared. Of me. Of liking guys too. Confession cracked him open. Hookups hidden. Self-hate festering into cruelty. Hurting you hid mine. I listened. Giovanni's room clutched like shield, seeing the boy beneath the bully. Fractured. Human. Forgiveness? Not yet. But I told Dominic, who raged then softened. His poison almost killed us. We met Jake neutral coffee at a strip mall Starbucks. Aircon humming judgment-free. Apologies flowed awkward. Jake's for the slurs, the setup, Dominic's for the blind loyalty. Mine? Heal yourself first. It humanized us all, enemies to echoes of shared pain. GSA at UCR welcomed me. I founded a queer-lit circle, Dominic co-sponsoring, his presence a quiet anchor. Dates deepened. Weekend in LA, Griffith Observatory stargazing. His hand in mine as we traced constellations, whispering futures. Kids? Maybe. Adoption. Surrogacy, our family. Romance wove romantic. Anniversaries marked with mixtapes. His classic rock. My indie folk. Picnics in Box Springs Park, where he'd read my poems aloud. Voice cracking on the lovesick lines. Thanksgiving tested, his family table tense. Abuela's tamales a peace offering, but uncle's side eyes sharp. I held Dominic's knee under linen. A silent we got this. Mom's side was bomb. Extended Riveras crammed in our living room. Cousins grilling him on football. Aunts cooing over El Novio Guapo. Christmas brought magic. Vineyard lights strung. Us sneaking to the wine cellar for midnight toasts. Bodies pressed against oak barrels. Laughter bubbling like fizz. To us, clinking glasses, then lips, slow unwrapping under boughs. But winter break ended with a whisper of storm. Dominic scholarship coach summoning him. Rumors of the audio resurfacing in alumni circles. Clean image. Haze. Dates don't score touchdowns. He confided poolside, water lapping, his form-cutting laps till exhaustion. What if I lose it all? I dove in, treading beside him. Then we rebuild. Together. That night, urgency burned. Love-making fierce, claiming, his body arching under mine as if to etch permanence. Spring semester dawned with protests, campus marches for trans rights, us marching arm in arm. Signs bold, love wins. Jake texted sporadically, therapy updates, a cautious friendship budding. My lit circle thrived. A story of ours published in the Daily Nexus. Anonymous but ours, redemption's arc. Yet climax brewed unseen. Prom weekend, UCR's version. Black tie under palm quads, promised escape. We dressed sharp. Him in charcoal. Me in emerald silk that hugged like envy. The hall pulsed with EDM. Bodies a kaleidoscope. But halfway through our third dance, Dominic's phone vibrated insistent. He stepped away, face paling as he read. Dad's firm. They're pulling support unless I straighten up. The betrayal not Jake's, but Blood's hit like vertigo. They found the audio. Leaked it to scouts. World tilted. I pulled him to the balcony. City lights sprawling below. Fuck them. You're more than a jersey. He shattered then. Sobs wrenching. My arms his harbor. I can't drag you down. Try, I challenged, kissing salt from his lashes. We're endgame. Dawn found us driving blind. Jeep pointed west. Toward Big Sur's wild coast. A reckless honeymoon before reality. Cliffs dropped to turquoise fury. Motels cheap and salt-crusted. We hiked to McWay Falls, water veiling purple lupin, making love on a blanket as seals barked below. Run away with me? He joked, but eyes serious. Tempting. But home's where we fight. Return brought reckoning. Dominic confronted his mom. Tears and ultimatums. Her eventual nod. Be happy. Mijo. I'll handle them. Coach relented post-meeting. Image be damned. Scouts called anyway. Drawn to the real story. Jake's redemption peaked. Public apology at a GSA assembly. Voice trembling. I was the monster. Forgive if you can. We did. Clapping cautious. A circle closing. Summer post-freshman year sealed it. Internships. His at a poly firm. Mine at a indie press nights in his childhood bed. Bodies familiar as breath. Anniversaries stacked. 1 year since that hallway rescue. Celebrated with tattoos. Matching semicolons on wrists. For pauses not ends. Mom met Elena for coffee. Bonds forging over shared suns. Riverside softened. Pride flags fluttering Main Street. Our hands free in sunlight. Junior year at UCR hit like a heat wave. Syllabi stacked. Coffee foredripped. The grind of midterms sharpening us like knives. Dominic thrived in poli-sci. Debating ethics in smoke-filled lounges. His passion a fire I'd stoke late nights with takeout pho and foot rubs. Me? Lit seminars dissected queerness in Orlando. Wolf's gender fluidity mirroring our fluid days. Mornings him cooking eggs in boxers. Me editing stories at the kitchenette scarred by spilled ink. Our off-campus apartment in downtown Riverside was a sanctuary. Mismatched IKEA shelves groaning with books. His football memorabilia clashing my zine collection. The bed a perpetual rumple of us. Home, he'd murmur, nuzzling my neck post-coffee. And I'd believe it, the word a talisman against creeping doubts. But humaneness demands shadows. Fall break brought Dominic's family crisis. Abuela's stroke, sudden and sly, landing her in Eisenhower Medical fragile as tissue. We drove to Rancho Mirage Palms swaying like mourners. Hospital fluorescence buzzing familiar cruelty. Elena paced vinyl floors, eyes red-rimmed. Dominic held her hand, then mine, bridging worlds. Abuela rallied slow, IVs and physical therapy, but in her room, monitors beeping soft. She gripped my wrist. You make him shine, Angelito. Like the vineyards after rain. Her blessing, accented and earnest, mended fractures. We stayed weeks. Me reading her Spanish romances, Dominic translating Vine's lore. It deepened us, vulnerabilities forge, nights in the Jeep's back seat, parked under desert stars, bodies urgent against leather. His whispers don't leave me raw as open wounds. Back on campus, activism ignited. Trump's re-election specter loomed, 2024's bitter pill swallowed, policies slashing queer funding, and we channeled rage. Protests at City Hall, banners no bans on books or love. Dominic's megaphone voice booming. Jake joined sporadic. His Juvie-forged sobriety a quiet strength. We'd grab beers, his NA soda at Mikey's, dissecting privilege's poison. I get it now, he'd say, scarred knuckles white on glass. Hate's a mirror. Forgiveness flowered tentative. Group hikes in box springs. Stories shared round campfires. Embers like fragile hopes. Romance laced the tumult. Valentines in Palm Springs. Majeska's mid-century glow. Us sipping Manhattans in a heart-shaped tub. Bubbles popping like confessions. Marry me, he said again. Not joke this time, ring simple. Tungsten etched with vines. I said yes. Tears mixing steam. Our bodies sealing vows in slow, sacred rhythm. Engaged at 20. Whispers followed, too young. But we knew, love's not calendar-bound. Mom cried over pozole, pinning Abuelita's pearl earrings on me. Elena hosted a backyard brunch. Vineyard rose toasting, family expanded. Yet conflict crested personal. My thesis loomed, a novel on immigrant queerness. Riverside's underbelly and deadlines devoured. Dominic's internship soured. Firm boss, a silver fox conservative, cornered him post-meeting. Rings cute, but clients like winners. Ditch the drama. Betrayal's echo, audio ghosts, stirred. Dominic came home shattered, punching the fridge till knuckles bled. Am I enough? He roared, and I held him, blood on my shirt, murmuring always. We fought ugly that week, my withdrawal blamed, his insecurity lashing, words like burden, phase resurrected. Door slammed. I crashed at Mom's, her arms sage comfort. Storms pass. Mijo. But sail together. Reconciliation came dawnlit. Him at my door. Coffee and croissants. Eyes bruised. I panicked. You're my anchor. We talked till noon, therapist referrals. Boundaries drawn, then made love healing. Gentle explorations reaffirming. Spring brought bloom. Thesis draft submitted. His promotion earned despite the boss's sneer. Pride Month exploded. Parade floats down Main. Us on a GSA truck. Rainbow face paint smudged by kisses. Jake March 2. Sign ally in progress. Earning wary cheers. Summer 2026 tested endurance. Road trip north. Jeep loaded with tents and Call Me by Your Name audiobook. Tracing Elio's Italy in California's veins. Yosemite's granite monoliths dwarfed us. We hiked Half Dome. Sweat-slick hands linked. Summit kisses breathless against void. This is us, he panted. Wind whipping. Unbreakable, but breaks hid. A call mid-highway 1, Elena's cancer diagnosis. Early but insistent. We U-turned. Hearts leaden. Riverside's heat now claustrophobic. Hospital again. Chemo's chemical tang. Dominic's vigil fierce. Me supporting from edges. Reading her like water for chocolate till voice hoarse. You too me bendition, she whispered. Hand in ours. It humanized deeper. Mortality's glare sharpening joys. We eloped quiet courthouse in jeans. Mom and Elena witnesses. Rings exchanged under fluorescent hum. Vows simple. In shadows and sun. I choose you. Reception backyard. Lanterns and lumpia. Jake toasting awkward. To redemption's road. Honeymoon deferred for treatments. But nights were ours. Slow dances in the kitchen. His head on my chest to heartbeats. Bodies weaving comfort's tapestry. Fall senior year pressured. Grad school apps. His Harvard law dreams. My MFA at Iowa whispers. Fights flared over distance. Long distance? After everything. But compromise won. Joint apps to Stanford. A midpoint. Activism peaked. Campus sit-in against book bans. Us arrested brief, cuffs chafing. But solidarity electric. Release to flashing bulbs. We kissed defiant for the press enterprise. Headline queer couple stand. Love under lockdown. Betrayal's final twist. Jake's relapse. Sober streak snapped. Bender after a hookup gone sour. Him crashing our door 3 a.m. Wreaking regret. Help, he slurred. And Dominic, ever the fixer, took him in. Couch for the night. Jealousy spiked irrational. I stormed out. Walking rain-lashed streets. Fears of replacement churning. Confrontation dawn. Am I second to your savior complex? He pulled me close. Rain mingling tears. You're first. Always. Jake's family now flawed. Like us. We called his sponsor. Boundaries set. Therapy trios forged. Pain alchemized to growth. Winter brought Elena's remission. Scans clear. Vineyard party joyous. Grapes crushed underfoot like triumphs. Abuela danced with me. Frail but fierce. Whispering vive. Angel. Love loud. Christmas snow rare. Dusted palms like fairy dust. We strung lights. Baked snickerdoodles. Dominic's proposal ring glinting as he carved turkey. New Year's resolution. Vulnerability vows. Weekly check-ins. No walls. Spring graduation loomed triumphant. Caps airborne in the Wheelock Stadium. His poly degree cum laude. Mine with honors. Thesis novel debuting indie. Speeches ours, him on justice's arc. Me on story's power. Post-ceremony. Families mingled. Jake sober-suited. Toasting to chapters new. Reception under string lights. First dance to Wonderwall. Ironic. Ours bodies swaying. World fading. But climax crested unexpected. Jake's gift. A box post-ceremony. Inside. The original audio recorder. Smashed. Note. Burned the bridges. Yours free. Closure's weight lifted. We torched it in the vineyard fire pit. Flames devouring ghosts. Arms around each other as embers rose like prayers. Summer postgrad. Stanford letters yes. Move north in fall. Internship mine at a SF press. His clerking for a queer rights firm. Riverside farewell bittersweet. Mom's tears over empanadas. Elena's hug fierce. Last drive mountains to sea. Windows down. Mixtape blasting. His hand in mine eternal. Fall in the Bay Area crashed like a novel's third act. Fog rolling off the Pacific. Eucalyptus sharp-scented. Stanford's quad a labyrinth of adobe arches and ambition. We settled into a shoebox apartment in Palo Alto. IKEA ghosts banished for thrifted velvet and succulents. The bed still our compass. Dominic's law clerking devoured days. Briefs on marriage equality. Late nights annotated yellow, while my MFA workshops honed the novel. Peers dissecting immigrant longing with surgical empathy. Morning's ritual. Him brewing pour-over. Me journaling dreams. Kisses tasting of future. We made it, he'd say, forehead to mine. And I'd nod. The we a hard one him. Humaneness bloomed in margins. Volunteer shifts at a queer youth center in the Mission, where we'd facilitate circles, kids like Hallway Me, books as shields. Dominic's stories of boardroom battles inspired. Mine of character arcs grounded. Jake visited once. Train from Riverside. His AA chip shiny. We hiked Marin Headlands. Winds whipping. Him admitting. You saved me. Indirectly. Hugs awkward but real. He stayed the weekend. Crashing on our futon. Bonds tempered in fire's aftermath. Romance deepened domestic. Anniversaries marked with escapes. Napa weekends. Vineyard echoes of roots. Bodies tangled in clawfoot tubs overlooking valleys. 2-year mark. Hot air balloon over Sonoma. Dawn gilding vines. His vow renewed midair. Sky's witness. Forever yours. We landed laughing. Champagne breakfast. Lovemaking in the wicker gondola's shadow. Earthbound ecstasy. Challenges crept. His firm's pressure cooker sparking burnout. Panic attacks in the shower I'd soothe with chamomile and the house on Mango Street readings. My novel's rejection stung. Too niche. Till an agent bit, optioning it for a small press run. Queer California Canon, she called it. Launch party in SF. Dominic beaming as I signed. His kiss salt-laced pride. Winter rains lashed, mirroring inner storms. Elena's cancer flickered back. Metastatic whispers, but trials promising. Her fighter's spirit unbowed. We flew south. Mom meeting us at LAX. Her strength twin to Elena's. Hospital vigils evolved. Group therapy for families. Laughter amid beeps. Abuela's rosary beads clicking prayers. Dominic cracked once. Post-scan scare. Driving erratic on the 101. What if I lose her? And you? Pullover. Dashboard confessional. My hand on his thigh. We're anchors. Not flotsam. Sex that night in a roadside motel. Neon buzzing. Sheets threadbare was cathartic. Bodies slamming release. Afterglow plotting contingencies. Ifs turned whens. Love's logistics. Spring brought verdancy. Novel galleys arrived. Cover art a watercolor angel over citrus groves. Dominic's bar prep a gauntlet we conquered tandem. Flashcards over Thai takeout. Pride in SF was revelation. Capes and chaps. Us in leather harnesses marching Castro. Jake texting pics from Riverside's smaller fest. Betrayal's scar faded to faint line. A call from an old teammate. Apology for silence. Closed loops. Graduation MFA. Robes in quad. Thesis defense lauded. Dominic front row wolf whistling. Post-ceremony. Ring exchange renewal vows updated. Through betrayals past and storms unborn. Summer postgrad. Book tour kicks off. LA readings. Sacramento signings. Riverside homecoming where mom hosted launch. Elena frail but fierce. Toasting me a scritter. Jake MCs. Voice steady. From humiliation to heroism. Sales modest but mighty. Reviews praising heart's humanism. Dominic's firm offers partnership track. We celebrate Big Sur return. Cliff same. But us evolved. Making love on that blanket as whales breached horizon. Fall 2028. Wedding proper. Postponed for life's rhythm. Backyard affair in Riverside. Vines trellised. Fairy lights. 50 souls. Families fused. GSA alums. Queer center kids. I in cream linen. Him navy suit. Vows under arbor. Mine. You saw me on knees. Lifted me to stars. His. From silence to song. You're my verse. Rings gold now. Engraved refuse to stay silent. Dance floor pulsed. Selena to soul. Toasts teary. Mom's benditions. Elena's salute. Jake's to love's underdogs. Honeymoon Hawaii, Maui's black sand beaches. Hikes to waterfalls. Bodies oiled under palms. Nights luau lazy. His head on my chest to ukulele strums. Years layered. 2030. His junior partnership. My second novel Vineyard Vows, our story veiled. Adoption whispers. Foster to adopt a boy. Mateo. 8 and wary. Books his bridge. We parent tandem bedtime where the wild things are. Park soccer where Dominic coaches. Me mediating playground slurs with stories of resilience. Jake uncles. Visits with AA tales. Elena dotes. Cancer dormant. Riverside roots pull occasional. Mom's diner retirement party. Us buying the vineyard parcel for legacy. Conflicts embers. Mateo's trauma flares. Night terrors echoing my hallway ghosts. Therapy marathons. Our patience tested. Dominic's case load spikes. A landmark trans rights win. But exhaustion frays us. Arguments over bedtime routines. Slam doors. We're fraying. I confess one dawn. Coffee cold. Retreat to Big Bear. Cabin isolation. Talks by fire. Recommitments. Date nights revived. Sex reignites spark, slow. Rediscovery. His body map I trace anew. Climax subtle. Mateo's first pride. Him waving a tiny flag. Asking were you scared? Papa Angel? Yes. I admit. Sharing hallway tales sanitized. Dominic adds his kiss crowning the story. Love silenced fear. Humaneness peaks there, cycle broken. Legacy light. 2035. Vineyard thriving. Our wine label refused silent. Cabernet bold. Labels etched with semicolons. Mateo thrives. Teen now. GSA president at his school. Jake's married. A quiet ceremony. Us best men, his husband a therapist. Irony sweet. Elena passes gentle. 92. Vineyard burial. We toast her under stars. Grief gold-edged. Decades end. San Francisco move. Firm transfer for Dominic. My professorship at USF. Apartment loft, views of bridges fog-veiled. Shelves epic. Anniversary stack. 20 years. Balloon ride redux. Rings renewed. Reflection. From Bookworm's Humiliation. Pages scattered. Heart bared. To this. Love's library. Volumes of us. Epilogue whispers. Twilight walk Golden Gate. Mateo grown beside. His own bow hand in hand. Dominic squeezes mine. Refused silence. Found everything. I lean in. Kiss salt wind. And true love. Fade to fog. Stories end open. Lives unwritten. But ours, eternal. In Riverside's echo, a boy still kneels for books. But now, he rises loved, loud, unbroken.